Hey everyone, so in this XD tutorial, I'm gonna go over how to create this registered login workflow page. We're gonna be using some illustrations from undraw and some HeroIcons. But to get started, we're just gonna create a simple 1920 by 1080. And then we're gonna be using these two illustrations. And we're also gonna be using the font or typeface Sophia Pro, and we're gonna be using this specific blue 305 as our base. One thing I like to do is get started is using the layout so I can see more or less what I need to toggle for my width and my padding, and also that makes sure my columns are always aligned. So I'm gonna give it a very thin on margin on the left and right, and so this is where I want to basically align my logo. So I'm gonna just type in logo, and it's gonna be a bold. And so right now it's going to be just quickly as I can, just trying to put the idea from head to paper, which in this case is canvas. So let me create is right now my subtitle for my logo. And so what I want to do for this part is this is going to be a lot smaller. This is probably going to be around 30. And then what we're also going to need is our tagline is going to be a bigger, bolder, so to give it more emphasis on the idea of your own data cloud. Okay, so now the other part of the tagline is your data, your rules. And so it's the your rules part that we're going to put a little bit more emphasis. So this we're just going to cut out. And then we're going to create a new option, text box. And so we're going to assign this to be of, it gives you these options. So we're going to make this now a little bit bigger, and we're going to put the right font. We're just going to paste it, and then we're going to need to assign it to bold and change our color to our base color, which I forgot to store it. So I'm just going to click on the save palette. And now I can always have easy access to it. Great. And now we're just going to make this just smidge smaller just to get fit inside the height of the logo. So one thing you always want to keep an eye on is composition and balance. Make sure you're getting equally, that the eye is getting spread out equally. You don't want to have too much information or text on one part. You want the whole experience just to navigate very freely. So right here, I'm just going back and forth, making sure that my template is coming out right. Okay, and now to move on is we're gonna start working on the footer. So I'm just gonna copy and paste so I have, I guess, a constant text size. And then with Mac, I'm just gonna use my emojis to get the copyright. And from here, we're just going to put Acme Labs, and we can just put in the year. All right, so now we're going to bring in our illustrations that we downloaded. You can choose any that you like, because the base color is what we're going to modify in XD. So I'm going to just drop in our two illustrations. I'm going to be using this folk and this, I guess, team. And so one thing I want to do right now is just separate the character from this messaging, the two messaging box. So I just have control over each illustration, and then I want to apply that. I'm going to break it down for the other character as well. So as soon as I have them ungrouped is when I can start placing them in my canvas how I want them assigned. And I can also start adding shadows to individual elements. And for here, these cubes, I want to make them the same color scheme. So I want to put them right here as purple. And eventually we're going to change them right now to our base blue while we're at it. So we want to select even the little chart that we're working on, and then from here we could just select our base. Okay, and so right here is just dragging and dropping to whatever works best with your canvas. Okay, and then one thing we can change is her day outfit, and then there's a dark outfit for the dark theme. So let's just, let me see, this looks pretty okay. Let me see, this looks kind of like this. Her jumpsuit. And then there are these little bubbles that we're gonna also change the color. We're gonna change them to the base blue. Okay, so let's select our base blue and let's start adding some shadows to our bubbles to give it some depth. And with shadows, one thing I like to do is give it the original base, and just you want to bring down the opacity and also the opaque. You want to unsaturate it. And it's always, you know, a give and take level that you always got to play with. Okay, let me just check her outfit a little bit to keep it on the blue tone. So here we're just gonna move our, this is gonna be our register character, so let's just align him up. So we're just gonna drag up. Okay, and like the bubbles, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna double click, so we're inside this grouping, and then I'm just gonna select everything inside the character grouping. And then here for the shadow, I'm gonna bring it a little bit higher. And so we're just gonna be playing it first. And then we're gonna get our real like honey spot, sweet spot. So we wanna make this just vaguely opaque just to give it some depth. Again, so we're gonna play with this. I think this is starting to, yeah, okay. And again, so from here, we're gonna select all the children from this group. And again, we're gonna just place, here is going to be a little bit less intense because we want to put more emphasis on the actual structure than the depth of each single element. So, you know, you want to bring it, make sure it's just subtle. Okay, and for our big group, we're going to apply our same strategy. We're going to just slowly bring down our opacity till we have just some level of, all right, 3D. All right, this is looking nice. Okay, now let's just bring in back our layout so we can see where is going to be our register and login forms. Okay, and okay, so this might be a little too wide. I think this might be a great spot. So let me come back to our character, and I'm gonna just tweak him a bit. I want to probably just, yeah, I'm gonna shift him to the right, to our left, and then I'm gonna place him on the left so he contain. So he's gonna hold our elements on the left side. So we're just gonna bring our little widget card. We're gonna probably shrink it a bit. Okay. See, I think this, because then we're gonna just scale out everything. But I just want to make sure our elements are right at scale. Okay, so now, bottom right and just pull towards the right. Okay, now let's work on our input boxes. And so this is going to be our base input. Okay, and so let's just bring it down. And this is not going to have no border. We're just going to use some, I guess, a blur shadow. This will be a box shadow in CSS. So you will do like an RGBA, and then your first 3 digits will be your colors, and then your final will be your alpha. So if you were to do CSS, you would just put a 0.5, and then your first 2 anchors will be your XY, and then your 3rd digit will be your blur. Okay, and so right now this would be our first and last name for our inputs. Okay, I'm just gonna shift them a little bit to the right because I want to make them a little bit taller, and we're gonna decrease the gap between both of them. Okay, and so from here we're gonna just then put our, this will be our password, and then this will be our confirm password. First name, last name, email, password, and then confirm password. And then we're gonna have our accept terms and privacy policy. So that's going to be a checkbox. So again, in HTML, this will be your input type checkbox. And then we're going to just create our button. So this is going to be our base blue button. It's going to be less shadow, less intense. Actually, no border, just base blue. Okay. And then let me see the opacity. I mean, for the shadow, I might just make it a little glow of blue. Okay. Let's make this a little smidge, probably 30% smaller. Let's make it more centered. Let's bring it up there. Okay, so let me see. Okay. So here's where we're going to create our additional link. So this will convert to our login page if our user is returning. So I already have an account, and again, we're just going to make emphasis on the login part. So we're going to use the same strategy where this is going to be a light weight, and then our login is going to be bold and blue. And we're going to again put the underline under it to give it more emphasis. And this is going to be, I'm going to hold R. R is going to give me my rectangle tool. I'm just going to click B and just put some rounded off corners a little bit. Not too much. And I want to make this with roughly the same width from head to tail. And then we're going to just shrink the height a bit. Okay. This is starting to look nice. Let's zoom out, and for already have an account, I think this might be a little bit too light. So let's change it to medium. That looks nice. Okay. And then here the title is going to be create account. Sorry. This is going to be pure white, and this is also going to be heavy on the weight. And let's just bring this type font face a little more. Just center line and make sure it's all coming out nice. Okay, and then let's give our heading to our form here. So this is going to create our register text box. Let's make it fairly dark. Nothing is ever black. So we're just going to put this to roughly, I think this was a 7/8. No, this is probably like a 4/4. Okay, so let me align this to all the way to our left form. And then our subtitle to our register is going to be a lot smaller than this, but I'm just going to type it out, which is host all your data on your own S3 bucket and cloud. Okay, so here's where we're going to bring that to medium. And our size probably be like 20 half. I think that's nice. Let me see. I could probably make this a little bit bigger and just remove our /. Insert period. Okay, let me see. Light. 23. Okay. Okay, so let's zoom in and let's make this font our subtitle. We want to make it our secondary color. So this is not our base. So now this secondary color and secondary size is what we're going to base our placeholder and our type size from. So again, this is going to be first name and last name for our two inputs. We're going to make these weights a little bit more emphasis. The first name and last name are not going to hold any icons. It's email password and confirm password that we're going to have our left padding icons. Okay, let's make sure that we're having, it's coming out nice. Oh, that's fraud. Never mind. Okay, decline. And okay, so let's change this to last name. Okay, and let's duplicate this, Alt, drag and hold. And now here is going to be my email, and then this is going to be my password and my confirm password. So let's type in email, password, and confirm password. All right, so let's go to our HeroIcons, and so I'm gonna go look for our mail, do a search, and we're gonna grab our envelope, just copy, just click, it'll be copied to your clipboard, and then from here I'm gonna lock our width and height, and I want to make this to a 25 width, and then we're just gonna align it between our height of our input box and our placeholder. So this now is gonna be a, like, let me see, I think 2.6 is the sweet spot. Okay, great. And so we're gonna apply this to our two remaining icons. So we have our lock, and then we need our password shut. So again, I'm gonna click lock on our ratio, and we're gonna bring 2.6, and then our border color, we're gonna use our soft secondary color. And then just Alt and hold Alt, and you're just gonna drag and move your mouse down until you leveled it. And then our final one is our eye shut off. So same tactic, lock your ratio, bring it to 25, and then this is gonna be a sweet spot of 2.6. And our color, we're gonna use our secondary color. And let me see, so I'm gonna align it to our lock icons. Okay, once I have both of them aligned, I'm just gonna click both and drag to the right. Okay, enough padding to the right to equal the left side. And I think I'm gonna bring the opacity a smidge to the down. Okay. And so this is gonna be our secondary text that we're gonna use for our I agree to terms and condition. For terms and condition, I'm gonna put again our emphasis for legal reasons. So I'm gonna put our terms and our privacy button. They're gonna be a button that our users will be able to click, and from there I can either direct them to the company's policies or open up a modal and just show it in front. Okay, so here I think I'm gonna type it out first and then just make them invisible. Okay, so let me fit in our terms and our privacy, make sure they're all aligned. And I think I want to add some extra width, not too much. Change the color to our base. And let me see, I think I'm gonna put 2.6 or 3. I think 3. Okay, so now let's work on our login. So let's just duplicate our canvas, and we can delete our illustration, and we can delete our confirm password and our first name and last name and our terms and condition, and let's just keep our email, password, and our create button, and then our secondary link to if a user is new. So this will be now our revert to our register page. So our illustration, let's just bring it in, and then we're gonna just grow it up a bit. Okay, and this is starting to look nice. Okay, we're gonna now add shadow to our illustrations. We're gonna select everything inside our group. Okay, that's starting to look nice. And for here, pretty much the work is done already. So this is gonna say to now need an account, and then it's gonna say create my account. And now let's just increase the width of our underline. So this is gonna grow out. Okay, and let me see. Our register now is gonna say hi, welcome back. And pretty much I think this is done for our login. And so now we want to duplicate both, and we're gonna work on our dark theme colors. So we're gonna make our base fairly dark. Okay, and then our secondary base color, which is gonna be the color of our backgrounds of our input, is where we're gonna assign it our secondary gray. And now we're gonna have to just increase our brightness for our titles, subtitles, and any text. So in this part, I'm just gonna, let me see, I'm gonna unlock it, and I'm just gonna grab my text. Actually, no, keep it locked. And now I'm just gonna select, let me see, I'm gonna, okay. I just cut them out. So I still have it. They're in my clipboard. And so I'm gonna first select all the text, because the text have a fill color. And we're gonna place it our bright new. We're gonna save it in our swatch. And then we're gonna select our icons, which don't have fills, they have stroke. So we're now change our stroke color to our one that we just added, and let's apply the same to our form on our login. So this is gonna be light, and then these are gonna be stroke. Make sure you don't confuse your icons, because a stroke and fill will give you a different visual. Okay, now we can just place them back in place. And we're gonna work on our logos. We're gonna make them bright white, but just make sure this is starting to come out right. Okay, we're gonna change this. We're gonna change this accent color. We're gonna make it white, and we're also gonna make our. Let's change our illustrations. Okay, let me see. Okay, so let's change our logo from a dark to bright, and then we're gonna make our tagline. And then our emphasis on your data, we're gonna make it white. Your rules, sorry. Okay. What else? We also gotta change this to here. So our register is blending in. So we're gonna make that and our logo again white. And then we're gonna add our secondary to our taglines and our subtitles. Okay, and here, let me just okay. And now I'm just gonna remove the terms, and then I'm just gonna add space, space, space until it fills out the end in privacy, and then I'm just gonna remove our fill for our checkbox. Zoom out. And this is going to be our secondary color, and then our emphasis on white. Our footer, make it our secondary bright. Okay, and then our character's pants, let's make it yeah, I think that gray is this little vector. I'm just gonna grab the anchor points and just gonna move them to our left. And then let's select our shoes, this character's shoes, and what color? Nah, too dark. Let's see. I think this Yeezys. These can pull off as Yeezys. Okay, let's go to our login and illustration, and again we're going to change our character's pants color and shoes colors. Let's put them to Yeezys. And for this character's jumpsuit, then we're going to make it one color. Let me see. Let's change this to this other blue to give it some variety. And our need an account, let's change it as well to our now secondary. Okay, let's take a double look. Let's change the hair color for our characters in our login. Okay. Yeah, so let's not do Children of the Corn. Instead, okay. And then this character, we're just gonna make the hair color. Let's put it to like this. Great. Let me save this color because this color is actually bitchin'. Okay, and then we're gonna make this character's also bitching. All right, everything is starting to come out nice. Now let's work on our mobile. So we're gonna go with the Pro version. So we're gonna click on the Pro Max version. So we're gonna get the 44x14. And so in here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bring in our logo and our forms. So I'm gonna start off with our register page. I'm just gonna create an empty canvas, bring it to our left side, and we're just gonna drop our logo, our tagline, and don't forget the your rules, which is emphasized. And then all we're gonna do is grab our form, and we're gonna just shrink and tweak some parts. So we're gonna duplicate that, and then so here you wanna make sure that your balance is equally between your left and right. You don't want to put them near edge to edge, so you want to have a good balance right in the center. And one thing that we also need to tweak is the border radius a lot for the inputs and the button, and our check boxes, they kind of like went scattered. So I'm just gonna click on some of them, and this height, I'm just gonna, let me see, no, there we go. Okay, I just want to make the height for our mobile not as tall nor as round. Okay, our shadow, let me see, and we're just gonna align it. Okay, so we have our icons. Okay, so now here is where I'm just gonna grab our icons and just shift them up. And our email and our icon. Okay. Yep, we're getting all the right sizes. I'm gonna make those at 2 now for mobile. Oh, my bad. No dash. And okay. So for here, let's bring our sizing down from 3, I think. 2 is fine, and then our radius, we're just gonna put it to 6 for our border radius. Let's center our terms and policy with our subtitle. Let's see. Okay, and let's bring up our button, which we also need to decrease our radius, border radius. Okay, we're gonna leave that at 6. Height, we're gonna drop it down to 43. Okay, and then this part we need to tweak a bit. So, yeah. So we're just gonna add an delete. Okay, let's delete our terms, our visible terms. Okay, and then let's just grab our bottom tagline and push it up. Okay, this is gonna scooch a little bit to the left. All right, it's aligned. This is gonna be perfect. Okay, now it's nice. Okay, and now for our logo, for our illustration, we're gonna put out our footer. So let's do a zoom. Yeah, here we go. We're just gonna crunch it up there, and we're gonna play with it a bit just so we have the right sizing. It's gonna be a lot bigger. Okay, so I want to click, and yeah, I want to get a good balance of this. We're gonna move this character a little bit up. Let's bring him forward on the layer. Okay, and this, I think this we can make a little bit bigger now, and we can move them up, because then we have a lot of space between our input, our forms. So we're just gonna scrunch things up just a few pixels together. Okay. Yep. Our logo doesn't have to be as big, nor our sub tagline. Okay, now let me get this, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna use the anchor the corners. Okay, now these we can move a bit up, and now here we can actually scale to have a good illustration on our mobile. Okay, this is great. Okay. So one thing we can actually do is just duplicate our register mobile, and we're just gonna Alt and drag click over to our login. And it's really just as simple as creating our login page. We're just gonna delete our first and last name. We're gonna swap illustrations and just some minor tweaks to the text. But yeah, a lot of it is already done. So let's center it and bring it to the bottom. And for our login, so we don't need first name, nor are we gonna need our confirm password and our terms and privacy policy checkbox. So we just need our login button and our link to register in case we have a new user. So need an account, and then this is going to be create my account, my lowercase. And we're going to just same strategy. We're going to bring our width for our underline. Okay, I'll bring that to the right. Let's add some right. Okay, that's looking nice. See, and let's bring this up. Okay, login is pretty much done. Okay, so to continue now, let me see these little bubbles. We need to start bring them in. So I'm just gonna select them, and then from there we can just group them, and then Alt click to grab a copy of that, and then we're just gonna use these within the group just to change the sizing. Okay. And then for these, what I want to do is just make them a little bit more random, just for a mobile. So I'm going to individually move our sphere bubbles. Select this one, move them a little bit here. We can move our little one over here. Okay, that's pretty random. Then we're going to move this one. This end of the one's gonna be pretty bunched up, and this one, let's move it over here. Okay, all right. Okay, let's move on to our dark mode. So let's just copy our two mobile versions, and let's just change again our background. So we're gonna change our logos from our dark to our bright white. And again, we're gonna need change our tagline to our secondary bright. And we're also gonna need to change these input placeholders. So we're just gonna take advantage of doing it right now. Okay, and then select our icons, which is now gonna be of fill. Okay, and then select our input boxes, and this is gonna be our new, I guess, secondary background color. Okay, you see. Okay, for this terms, delete. I thought I deleted it last time, so just add some spacing. Okay, and the same issue, so let's just uncheck our background color, and this is now going to be the bright white that we have on our desktop. Okay, and just change these to our now secondary subtitle color. Okay, let me check. Oh, we're missing our lock icons. Okay, so let's just quickly get those. Okay, so let's grab our two confirm password and password, our eye icons, and let's just bring them over here. Okay, so now we're just gonna need to modify these for our mobile version. So we're just gonna click on them, and let's bring our border stroke to 2, and then our width and height, let's make it 16. Let me see, 16 I think is a good one. And then just shift a little bit to the right. Okay. Okay, hopefully you caught that before me and you just saved yourself this entire step. Okay, now let's finish with our login mobile. So we're gonna add our missing eye icon. Let's center it. Okay, so now just duplicate just so I have a sense of width. I can delete this one. Okay. And now what I want is to change my input background colors to our new secondary background color, and let's brighten up our input placeholders and our icons. Okay, so let me just, how am I gonna get this? Yeah, so just select our text, and then we can just select, I'm an idiot for being this complicated when I could just hide it and then instead of doing this. Okay. Let me see. All right, this is starting to look nice. We have our dark and light theme. We have our login and our register for mobile and desktop. Let me see. And this guy. Okay, yeah. So I just want to duplicate this new one and just bring it over here. Yeah. Starting to look right, and the same issue here. We want to delete our original, and we're gonna bring in now our, actually no, we don't need to do that. We just need to change this guy's color. Okay, yeah, this is starting to look nice. And if you folks are having any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. So we just test it out. We can see how it's starting to look. Our mockup is starting to come out really nice. So yeah, in roughly 30-40 minutes, we have our bright and dark theme mockup set. I think I'm going to bring this into Next.js and start working on this. And it's going to be part of my, probably either hook it up to Strappy or Nest.js.